Alright, for my novel activity, I chose skateboarding. I would consider myself an expert at snowboarding and wakeboarding, and I've always thought that these activities were the same, but I never actually tried my hand at skateboarding. And I had my friend Rachel be the expert since she has been skateboarding her whole life. Before I play the videos, I want to discuss some of the differences between Rachel and I's movements. You'll notice that Rachel's whole body is relaxed on the skateboard from her knees and her hips all the way up to her shoulders and her arms, and because she's comfortable, she's able to move with the skateboard and helping it maintain its forward momentum, whereas I'm the complete opposite. My body is rigid and tense, which is keeping it from moving forward. Rachel did a great job moving her feet into position when she got on top of the board following her push-off, whereas my feet were glued to the skateboard and not moving, which kept me from getting into a more ideal position to maintain my balance. Alright, now that I've pointed out some of those differences, let's get into the videos. So here Rachel is demonstrating a more advanced way to get started and a more advanced way of turning the board, which is done by pushing the front end around. And then now she'll demonstrate a more beginner-friendly way to turn, which is done by leaning from side to side, from toe edge to heel edge. And this is how you should get off the skateboard the safest. And this is a fun trick that she thought would be easy for me to learn, but I was terrified to even try. Here are my attempts at the beginner-friendly skills only. So I got started with just a standard push-off, nothing too crazy, and here you can see what I was talking about when I said my feet were glued to the board and like not moving. And instead of stopping, I just bail off. And here is my try at turning. So I'm going from my heel edge over to my toe edge, I lose my balance, and bail off. There's my first attempt at the trick. Was pretty surprised that it went that well. And then here is the second attempt, and I was pretty shocked that I landed it. I cut the video off before you could see the face I made. Before I get into the advantages and disadvantages of skateboarding, I do want to talk about some of the reasons it is unique. So it did recently just become popular around 1963 as a way for surfers to stay active during the season of unrideable waves and was termed sidewalk surfing. It was also just recently added into the Olympics back in 2016, and the final, and I personally think it's the coolest reason that this is unique, is the entire culture surrounding the activity places a large emphasis on creativity and personality expression. So the first advantage of skateboarding is it has the same intensity as running at 4 miles an hour, which is approximately 6 mets according to the Compendium of Physical Activity. It predominantly works the lower body muscle groups, as the trunk and upper body are mostly held in isometric contractions. And the best advantage, I think, is that it is relatively cheap to start, as the beginner boards are around $30. And the last advantage is the skills required are very transferable to other similar skills. So the first disadvantage is the high risk of injury across all skill levels, as this is considered an extreme sport, which could also make it unique. Many of my friends who skate say it's easy to learn at first, but harder to master, which is why skill improvement can take a while. Skate parks are far and few in between, causing overcrowding, but lately more have been built, making this less of an issue. And the final disadvantage is this is a restricted form of transportation, as it's slower than driving and biking, but it is faster than walking, which makes it an advantage in some ways. And it can also be tricky to find skateboard-friendly paths or sidewalks. Before I get into Here is a list of activities similar to skateboarding. As I mentioned at the beginning, I do consider myself to be an expert in a few of these activities listed, and I can agree that they are very similar to skateboarding. However, the only glaring difference I did notice was that a little bit of movement goes a long way on a skateboard. Referring back to the video of me losing my balance while turning, I was using the skills I learned from snowboarding, which was too much movement for the skateboard. Anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed watching me attempt skateboarding for the first time as much as I enjoyed learning how to.